Oh boy.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Fly With Us podcast. This podcast is bringing the art of conversation, self-love, self-care, mental health care and protection, life lessons, love lessons, and everything in between. Today, we're going to talk about respect and the toils of parenthood. I'm Lady Bounce.
And I am A Slate.
First, we got to tell them where to find us. We are now on Instagram. We're now on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We are at gmail.com. Flywithusla at gmail.com. And thank you for the people who have been interacting with us on our Facebook page, telling us how you practice self-care. It's been amazing. We had a couple of people inbox us and give us some tips that they use that I hadn't thought of before. And I was like, I like that. I need to incorporate that. So you and I took a self-care day and we went to the eclectic, the diversified
and
city.
Beautiful.
Oh, and beautiful city of Yellow Springs.
Yellow Springs.
The home of Dave Chappelle and free love. It was like being in Woodstock 2019.
Except I didn't get my hobo bag.
You did not get the hobo bag or your eagle feather.
You know what? I'm getting my eagle feather. Okay. I'm getting my eagle feather. You know I'm getting my eagle feather.
Okay, you're going to get it. I'm fully confident that you shall have what you desire.
Okay, for everybody that's listening, watching, hear me, listen to me, understand me now. Understand me. If you see, touch, get close to, or even a glimpse of an eagle feather, get it for me. Holla at your girl. Call me. I'll go get it myself. I'm not going to tell on you. And I ain't giving it back. I need it. So if you find it, let me know. I want it. I need it. But you know what? What did we do there? So we saw some friends.
We did see some friends, which was weird to see people that we know, because we just kind of went up there, spurred a moment. Like you went to go get a T-shirt from
which I was supposed to get like a week ago.
From what was
Heaven on
Earth Emporium. I met a lady in the store. It kind of freaked me out a little. At my school, the prom is coming up. So I have to chaperone the prom. So I was looking for a prom dress because we went into the clearance room and they had dresses for $5 and it blew my mind.
Beautiful dresses.
Of course, I'm a little thick with it. Those dresses did not fit me, but they were cute just the same. However,
the blue one did. You just didn't want it. You said you already had one like.
Yeah, I have one like that, and it's the same color too. So I was like, nah, I don't need that one.
It's a good color for you.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. So this lady, as you and I were making jokes back and forth about being fluffy and not being able to fit that size 8 dress, which was gorgeous,
or those size 1 jeans,
walked up to us, tapped me on the shoulder, and said, "Hey, my daughter is graduating from high school next Saturday, and she has a lot of dresses in her closet that I will be willing to donate." And I was like, oh my God, I literally don't know you. You don't know me. And you just offered me your daughter's dresses from the last 4 years. She says, yeah, she's got homecoming dresses and prom dresses and formal dresses. And she's not going to use them anymore. She graduates next week. She's going off to college. And I was like, oh my. So I gave her my business card. And she's going to call me on Monday so that I can reach her to get the dresses. And I was like, this would have never happened walking around Dayton.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I'm saying it. But we don't have a Heaven on Earth Emporium here in Dayton. Now, you know that would have happened if we was at Zante's at these deals.
Or maybe at Hart Mercantile.
Because I believe Zante has given away some clothing before.
But just for a random stranger, not the store owner. She was a random stranger in the store who just said, I just happened to hear you guys talking. And I thought to myself, like, dang, was we loud when we was talking? Like, or was you dipping? What is really going on?
No.
But I'm very thankful to have run into this really nice woman who offered me dresses that I can give to the young ladies at my school. If not this year, then for next school year.
Because that was one of the things you said, for the dresses that you couldn't fit and the ones that were for the younger ladies.
Yes.
You did want to get some of those for them. So yeah, look.
I know. I was like, I said, look at that. That
you got what you wanted. And then the lady that we met while I was looking for my feather, and they had a feather in that Heaven on Earth Emporium, but it wasn't the one I wanted. Cindy, the lady that we met.
I liked her.
Now, what we saw the horse coming in. When we came into Yellow Springs, we saw the horse, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's a pretty horse."
Yeah, and you said,
I was
"Let's
like,
get on the
ride
horse."
On it? You want to get on the horse?
And Chrissy was like, "I don't know about getting on no horse." I said, "I don't think you get on the horse per se."
And then your thing was, I'm sure. Let's see what it costs. I'm sure we're gonna have to pay.
Right.
Sure. I was like, you know what? I think we're gonna be able to get on the horse.
I know you claimed that one because
Yeah,
I was like,
huh?
A horse? A house?
And so what happened? What did we do?
Well, you went up and you have this personality that draws people in, and so as you went up to compliment her to look at the horse, we began to talk, and she began to tell us about her crusade.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was amazing. She told us a story about the
Her
Dakota
story
38.
was amazing. That's what pulled me
Yeah.
in when I asked her about the fundraiser. She's doing her name is Cindy. Her name is Cindy, and she is right in downtown Yellow Springs. She's doing the Down the Road Sustainability Project fundraiser. So there was a man playing his guitar so beautifully, and I asked her, was he participating in the fundraiser as well? She said, no, this is my own sustainability project. I said, well, what is the fundraiser for? Because the rides were like $10 a person for 10 to 15 minutes,
or
and
$30 a person
$30.
if you wanted an hour long ride.
Yeah.
I'm like, geez, where could you go in an hour?
I don't know, but I would have liked that too. But either way,
Right. If we had more
Yeah.
time, we could have taken it because it did have a destination on the sign for the hour long ride.
it did. And I think the 10 to
that's
15 was around downtown.
right, just around the downtown,
Yeah.
which was nice.
It was beautiful.
And a horse named Daisy, who used to be named Tulip.
Yes, because she said Tulip didn't fit her, and Daisy did have yellow hair.
She did, but this lady sold her car, and she
Bought a horse.
Yeah, she bought a horse, and she's raising money to take a year-long ride on her horse to North Dakota.
And I think she said it's going to take her about 2 months to get to North
Yes.
Dakota, but she's going to have to take rest.
For
They're
a
going to have to
month.
have breaks, and then she wants to
Yes.
ride with the Dakota 38, and she is there to support the No Dapple. And yeah, she's going to do that, and she said that she didn't want to talk about it anymore. She wanted to be about it, put some action to it. And so I just really I admired that. She inspired me.
She told us the story about the Dakota 38, which were 38 people who were executed by President Abraham Lincoln
The day after Christmas.
the day after Christmas that we never heard about. I never learned about that in history class.
didn't either.
You know, they paint the picture of Abraham Lincoln. He was this great man of honesty, and he freed the slaves, and he did this and he did that.
And she
But
said
I
that they
never
were,
heard that story.
She said that they were executed the day after Christmas.
Yes.
And yeah, so she said she wants to experience the ride in the colder months as well. So
Right.
yes, I mean she's just awesome. So she's trying to get things together. But in that process, she said, "Hey, we're just sitting here, and we'll get tired just sitting here, Daisy and I. You know, you want to go for a ride?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well." I don't believe that that's in our budget.
I
And
know
she
the way you
said,
said it was so elegant. You were just like,
yeah, I don't
not in our
believe that.
budget.
It's not in our budget. I said, but I really applaud you for what you're doing. She said, well, Nikki, I'll let you say what she said.
she said, well, come on. I'll go ahead and give you a ride. And we're still, we were protesting going, no, we really can't pay you for a ride. And she said, well, come on. What has
And
a white
we'll just say she gave us a ride. She gave us a
you
ride.
have to say what she
I
said
don't
because
think we have to say
because
that.
it solidified the whole thing. It made my day. When she said,
Because her talk was on a few things. She touched a few things.
yeah. And so
But I think we're not going to say it.
Yes,
It's
we
not
have
important.
to say it.
This is maybe she'll say the same thing to you. If you go downtown in Yellow Springs by the little theater there, if you go right down there, she'll be parked with Daisy and get you a ride.
Tell her
Have
we
a
sent you.
conversation with her. Tell her that Lady Bouncing A-Slay sent you. A-Slay sent you. So on our ride, we went around the corner.
I felt like a superstar with the people
Oh, yeah,
that
we
were
were
waving
waving.
and saying hey to us, and we're just like, hey.
We were in a parade.
3 black girls on a horse.
And
No
I
big
seen
deal.
one of my friends from Scripted in Black who came to the paint and sip that she had show line. She had her beautiful children there with her.
Yes, her daughter did not look real.
I know, looked
She
like
looked
one
like
of
a
the
doll.
TV babies or something.
Yeah,
of a
and then I
diaper
told her,
package.
I said, your baby doesn't look real. And she was
Yeah.
like, thank you. I said, no, she really looks like a doll. Like, and I when I said hi to her, I said, hi, how are you? And she was like, I'm fine. And I was like, oh my, she speaks. She's
I
real.
didn't know she didn't talk when I was over
yeah,
there.
because
Now her brother did all the talking.
When we
to
were
me.
standing there with that dog, when you were standing there talking to her and the guy was standing there with the husky, they did not like that dog. I said, you didn't like that dog,
Oh,
huh?
that's why she was.
She said, no, I did not like that dog at all. I said, whoa.
I did not know
This
she could talk.
vocabulary is amazing.
And I had just told her brother he was extremely articulate too.
Yes,
Yes.
the vocabulary was amazing.
Amazing. So, so we seen some people we know, but I seen something that reminded me of home in Dayton. Here we have old newspaper bins, I'll call them.
Yes.
But they are now filled with books, which I think
And
is
food.
beautiful. But in Yellow Springs, they have bins, mailboxes, what have you, filled with food, non-perishable foods, and it is called the Little Free Pantry. Maybe we can get that started here. Take a canned good, leave a canned good. Maybe you don't like your lima beans. Put them in there. If you have some extra cans, put them in there. But I think that was a great idea. What else did we do? Had vegan ice cream. We saw lots of elephants, lots of feathers, and oh my God, everywhere I went, I saw something that reminded me of an eagle, be it earrings, be it a caftan, be it a feather that was rare in that one shop that was beautiful.
Right.
And then I got a little bit closer, just like I did yesterday at Caroline Park, where I went again to see the eagle. And not only did I see the eagle, last time I only saw the nest. I saw both eagles this time. And then today I saw a real beautiful conversationist, Navajo Indian from Dakota. Come on, Dakota, you coming through today. He was talking to me and he reassured me that there's more work to be done before I will get my feather. So while y'all flying with us, know that I am still flying, still learning to love myself and do the work. I just ain't got my wings yet. I just ain't got it yet. So that's how I gave myself some self-care today with my sister.
Yes, and we both needed it because parenting this week was rough for both of us. So we needed a day. We needed some hours. And without going into great detail, I don't want to bore you with details, but as you know, I am rearing, if you
Amen.
will.
I like that.
Rearing 2 teenagers. And there's a meme on Facebook that says, I didn't know I was so stubborn until I had to argue with myself every day. And it talks about having a teenage daughter and having to have these arguments and discussions with someone who is exactly like you. So my daughter and I this week were not necessarily gelling as she is trying to assert herself and her personality in the world and find her place in the world while still keeping it in line with the hierarchy that I am Queen Bee. I run this show. You get to watch, you get to participate, but make no mistake of who's in charge, who does these things.
I understand.
And you have headstrong young men,
Yes.
which you have raised to
Mainly
be headstrong.
a 16-year-old, yes.
And then here's the rub. You raise your children to be independent, headstrong thinkers. What do you do when that, I won't say backfires, but when you come up against exactly what you taught them and how to think, act, and behave? And there's a disconnect. There's a conflict there.
And I will tell you, and I will be honest, in the last week, the conflict has ceased.
Okay.
I surrendered control. And I understand that they are thinking for themselves.
Right.
They this is what we taught them to do, and we should be proud of them for thinking for themselves. The rules are still in place. I don't fight with it no more. I say what I need to say. I move on. And it's kind of working out. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I surrendered control. Where because the with my son and me, it's like, well, and everything I say, he got something to say. And then when I think of it and look at it for exactly what it is, this is just his opinion. And he has a right to say that, as long as you making me feel like I'm not in control. You're not disrespecting me. You're not raising your voice to me. You're not cussing at me. You're not trying to put your hands on me. You're not doing any of this. You're just voicing your opinion. Now, all I got to say is, I don't want to hear any more of this. Carry on. Now, if you keep going, then
now
okay.
we got an issue.
But it really does stop when I stop.
Right.
I don't continue with him because it was a battle.
All right, so I posted a question on my personal Facebook page last week, and it really got people talking, and it was mainly females in the beginning who answered, and then my husband made a comment, and then that got more men to chime in. And my question was, rank these women in a man's life: his wife, his mother, his sister, his daughter. And most of the women said wife, mother, daughter, sister. There was one man who said his mother comes first because he doesn't have a wife. So it is his mother, his children, and then his sister. One of my really good friends made the comment and said the wife. And if it's not the wife and nobody else, then why get married? If you're not prepared to put the wife first, then why get married? And I was like, wow. So then, of course, my husband, who he likes to stir up controversy and get people thinking and people talking, and he made some comments and we're talking about, your mother should be like God to you, and then your seed, and then your wife. And I said, well, if it wasn't for your wife, you wouldn't have the seed. So how dare you put the seed before the wife, which is the reason why you have the seed in the first place. And then I thought about it even deeper, because he asked the question, well, why does a woman have a right to tell a man where the women in his life should rank? And so my initial response was, I kind of made this face like, what you mean? Like, what are you trying to say? So then I thought about it deeper when he and I had a private conversation about it. And I said, you're right. But when it comes to the respect factor involved, it is up to the man to let the women in his life know where they stand. It is up to that man to put each one in a position on their rightful pedestal so that they don't feel like they're in competition with one another. So as women, we have the tendency to, we'll do what you ask. We will play our position. But you got to let us know
But you just said that right there. And I just heard it. I just heard it right from you.
What?
We just got to know our own position. Nobody can give you permission to position yourself anywhere. And there's that control thing, and everything has to be detailed and outlined. You know where you stand. You know where you want to be. Position yourself where you want to be. You know what I mean? The same as me with my child.
I see what you're saying.
You don't need.
However, there, you hear stories about, mother-in-laws from hell or sisters-in-laws from hell and what have you. And the reason why that happens is because there are boundaries that get crossed. And when you try to assert yourself in that boundary where you think you fit and the other people don't think you fit there, and then that man says nothing, then it's very easily for those wires and those boundaries to get
But
crossed.
that's that thing we were talking about.
Right.
About what we got to make that clear. But we don't wait. We can't wait for somebody to make that clear. Just flat out ask the question: where do I stand? Let me know. Because if I
Right.
don't want to sit right here or I don't want to stand right here, I'm gonna have to get out the way because this don't work for me.
Exactly. I mean, and I totally agree with that. And like you were saying when we were talking earlier, that a woman has no problem playing her position.
Yeah.
But you have to let her know what that position is.
Yeah.
Because we talk all the time about, not giving wifely privileges to a
Right.
boyfriend.
Then if they don't deserve it, that's
Or
right.
giving
For
girlfriend
what?
privileges to somebody that's just your friend.
Right.
So
No.
if you let me know who I am to you, where I fit, then you never have to worry about me stepping outside
Right.
of where I fit.
Right.
But I do think that it is up to the man, in that case, of the women in his life, to say, this is where you fit, this is where you don't fit. And when there's conflict or disconnect between those women, it is up to the man to kind of go, hey, you chill out, this is where you fit, this is where you don't fit, you cross the line, rather than having those women not necessarily like going at it, but like I have friends who are married and their mother-in-laws and then bat heads all the time, like all the time. And my friends always say, I wish my husband would say something. I wish my husband would tell his mother to stop calling after 10 o'clock. I wish my husband would do this. I wish my husband would do that. I wish I felt like I came first. And I'm like, yeah, every woman has a right to know where she fits in that man's life and to feel like she comes first. Not necessarily first in like, I'm going to put you above this person or above this person. But when it's me and you and we're having husband-wife time, I shouldn't feel like...
This is what we talk about. This is what we talk about. And I can hear it better now because I'm just listening to you.
Right.
And I'm hearing myself because I've said these same things before. But listening to you, hearing me speak to me, it sounds different. Like you can't control nothing or nobody but yourself. So why even fight with all that?
I don't think it's necessarily fighting, but it becomes a thing going back to that respect issue. If I feel like I'm not respected or my position in your life is not respected, then that is going to cause...
What is your position? Is your position clear?
Exactly. So
you?
No, it is not clear because the man in my life doesn't make it clear. So if I'm not sure where I fit, you haven't told me where I fit.
Where do you think you fit? Where are you?
Me personally, or just me as everybody else?
Whoever me is, this me.
Well, I don't know. There are times, and I've been married for 20 years. Mm-hmm. So transparency moment. There have been times where I have felt like I wasn't number one in my husband's life, where I felt like my opinion did not matter as much as someone else, some other woman in his life. There have been times where I have felt like I didn't rank. So
now was that because I'm just listening to you hearing myself. I say this all the time, but then we thinking like it. If we just be real and look at it for exactly what it is,
right?
Not what we thinking all in our head. Nobody told you that. That's just what we thinking. That's how you're perceiving it. That's what we creating. It's not.
I don't always think so, because when things happen, so not even my own thought, when actions happen, I gotta believe action. You can tell me, yeah, you're number one all day long, but when things happen, if you're telling, if you're casting me aside.
So what is respect to you? How does one respect? We'll say, how does a mate respect you? What do you require to be respected? What would make you feel like, okay, yes, I'm definitely being respected right here? We'll do two, like as a parent and just as a woman. Period.
That's kind of hard. Well, as a parent, definitely, I've always been a strong proponent of, if we have a disagreement when it comes to rearing our children, you back me up.
I didn't say we. No, I said you.
Listen. So when it comes to something like that, you back me up. If you disagree with what I said or how I parented, then you tell me that in private. That is a conversation that we don't have in front of children. That is not an argument that we have in front of the children, because we have to put on this united front. And if you don't respect me, then our children are not going to respect me.
What if they don't agree? Then it's just that. Then it's a united. It's a front. What if they really don't agree when in that moment? What if they don't agree with that?
Then
with what you're saying. So do they just walk away and let you finish it, and then y'all talk about it later, or what?
Whichever in that situation, I guess whichever one is.
Because that don't sound like disrespect. That sounds like control. I want to be right. I want to be right, and I want you to say that I'm right too, or I want you to say this. It sounds like control. It doesn't sound like disrespect.
I guess it depends. Like I'm trying to like think of something, and I can't draw anything up right this second. That would be like a perfect example of a time where I felt like, that I was being disrespected in terms of.
Wait. Can we cut this one off? We gotta erase this one. I really feel like we should, because I rambled too much in the beginning, and this is good. We need to talk more into this. We need to get focused, because this is going somewhere.
To be continued.